Hello and welcome to this another walkthrough live Linux video. Now I'm quite excited about this moment because not too long ago, just a few hours ago, a very big announcement got announced, and yeah, I was quite pleased about that over there on Twitter when I was looking through my feed, and it was from Endeavour OS, and the team there were announcing the release of the September ISO. As well as that, they were also doing a very big announcement, and this big announcement was the fact that there is a double ISO in this release, and the reason being for that is because today, being September 19, they are not only releasing their September release, but they are today releasing Endeavour OS ARM. Yes, I know, it's exciting, isn't it? So, what we've got here, basically now, is one massive release today. Not only is this one of their quarterly updates, but today they're actually announcing the fact that they are releasing a brand new distribution which is aimed at ARM technology. So if you have was it a Pinebook Pro, for example, that would be perfectly ideal to test this on. But basically, if you've got any laptop device or a desktop device that runs ARM as its lead technology, then this is the day for you, because Endeavour OS ARM is here. I, of course, don't have any ARM technology here in the walkthrough office, but I'm still pleased to hear about this announcement, because obviously, as we look to upgrade our kit over time, then this is definitely something worth looking into. Although I have just this week brought into the walkthrough office here another laptop, and this laptop is an IBM ThinkPad, and it's an E480, which is one of those 8th gen Intel jobs. So yeah, I'm quite pleased to have this one here. So what we did with this one here is we've updated the RAM on it, and also installed a secondary SSD. So what we are going to do today is we are going to install Endeavour OS over the top of what's on here already, and that is OpenSUSE Tumbleweed. So we gave that a try today, and then heard the announcement of the Endeavour OS release, and then we thought, aha, no, sorry, gonna install Endeavour OS. So that's what we're going to do here today. So let's first of all just take a look before we do that at what is in this release. And if we scroll through the update here on the Endeavour OS website, we can see that in this release here today, you've still got the option to be able to choose whether you want an online or an offline installation. If you do an online installation, then you've got the opportunity to install your favorite desktop environment, be it Mate, Cinnamon, Budgie, i3, Deepin, XFCE, and GNOME, and yeah, the chance to do that. But if you choose the offline version, then you obviously can only install using XFCE as its default desktop environment. They are still using the Calamares installer for this release, giving you an online and an offline install. As I said, you get XFCE for offline, and then of course you get Mate and all the rest for online. And this page here just lists out all of its minimal requirements, all basically looking at around 2 gigs of RAM for its minimal requirements there, and a hard drive space of 20 gig or more. Now, if you're looking to do Cinnamon or Plasma, it's recommended that you do 4 gigs of RAM as its minimum, by the way. For GNOME, now just yesterday, September 18th, the GNOME team announced that GNOME 3.38 is now available. But what we are not going to see just yet here in this installation of Endeavour OS, if we did install the GNOME, is obviously we're going to still be on 3.36 for the GNOME build there at the time of the recording, because obviously the latest version of GNOME is not yet within the Arch repository, so that's what we've got to wait for there. So once that appears there, then anybody that's on an existing Arch installation will be able to download the latest version of GNOME. So Deepin is another another one that's been introduced. Apparently Deepin now is in version 20, so if you installed Deepin on top of this distro, then you will get the actual Deepin 20 desktop environment, the latest release there. So let's take a look at the news and what's included within this ISO. And hopefully if we just click into here, it will list the details. Here we go. So what's in this September release? So the Welcome app has been updated. The Welcome app is now running on version 3.4, and here you get to quite a few major updates actually. You've received Chinese translations. A big shout out to the team over there who asked for that one now. A new button to change display resolutions. Now this I'm very excited about, because there's one thing that really niggles me most when I attempt to load up an ISO and try and mess around with the resolutions. I also have to run the xrand-r command to see if my desktop resolution is listed there. It works great, I tell you now, if you're using a virtual machine. And we can see that in play in a few moments' time. The button update mirrors now ships with a check if Reflect Simple is installed. 2 link buttons that each bring the user to the Arch repo page and the of course the AUR page. That I've noticed is a good thing to have there, because it now takes you directly to those package pages within the Arch Linux website there. And you got a new button to select one of the Endeavour built-in wallpapers. This feature obviously has received an update to select community-made wallpapers in the near future, which I'm very excited about. And of course, because it's September and it's been not nearly 3 months since the last release, but there's been some various bug fixes along the way. So in terms of installation, the new Arch ISO is implemented here in this release. It does keychain server bugs that have been fixed there, of course. NVIDIA installer has been updated to install the latest NVIDIA updates and changes. So I won't see it on this laptop, but when I get it installed onto the desktop tomorrow, no doubt I'm hopeful that I'll be able to see the latest NVIDIA 450 driver as part of this release. EOS Updater Notifier doesn't show Arch News by default anymore. Fantastic, because that was really annoying me. And every time you clicked into it, there wasn't really any news in there, so I don't know why that was ever appearing, which is good to know. There was a bug fix for people who enabled auto login and not being able to get into their desktop environment, so I've never had to do that, so good to know that that also has been fixed. And the Deepin auto login is also now fixed. And the Calamares installer has some new slides, which we are about to see. And if you're an i3 window manager user, then the panel now has clickable areas for browser, terminal, file manager, and more. Make it more of a new friendly environment. And there's now a key bindings hint button now used via XED. There's a block button for mail client that's been added, ready for the user to configure it, and then any mail client of your choice. You don't have to use the inbuilt mail clients. You can use any one of your choice, be it Geary or Evolution or even Thunderbird, depends what your favorite mail client is there. And this release is shipping with new wallpapers, so existing users can get them with the wallpaper buttons on the Welcome app. So if you are an existing Endeavour user and you are updating the ISO here today, then you might not see the wallpapers immediately, but to get hold of that, you just open up the Welcome screen again, the Welcome app, and then you just click the button that says about wallpapers, and you'll be able to download and install those as well. So taking a quick look at these wallpapers, if we scroll through the slide here, there has been an update actually, and what they've done is they've put the default background over the top of the kind of Endeavour ship type logo there, and they've stuck with the distro logo now of the distro that has been installed. So if you're XFCE, you can choose XFCE. If you are, of course, KDE, you can see you've got KDE, and if you're Mate, you've got the Mate, LXQT, the i3, and the GNOME as well. And there's Deepin, and there's Cinnamon, and there's Budgie. So all great new wonderful wallpapers to see as part of this installation. You don't have to use them. Again, it's down to your choice. I quite like the default one that's in use at the moment. If I scroll back to the first slide here, there we go. And we'll get to see that in a few moments when we load up the screen. It's a bit pixelated here on the screen at the moment because obviously I am just doing screen capture, and when we come to install it in a few moments time, it will still appear pixelated because obviously I am using a capture card to be able to show you this here today. And I would go into a bit more detail about ARM. I'm not today because really I don't have anything ARM related to actually show you here. I don't have any tech that obviously can help demonstrate this one, but you're obviously more invited to go along to the Endeavour OS website and then check out the news on the ARM installation there. But one thing I am excited about is to tell my friends to get it installed on a Raspberry Pi. But not a Raspberry Pi 1, 2 or 3, but a Raspberry Pi 4B. Yeah, a B. So I would probably advise you install it, if you are going to put it on a Raspberry Pi, to put it on the 4 or the 8 gig model. Right, without further ado, let's give this a try. So here I am on my Budgie desktop. So let me just now fire up the capture facility here. So for this, let's now switch over to the main screen, and this is the output of what you can see here in front of me on my laptop. So you can see here we've got the Endeavour ISO already loaded up from a USB key. It's the welcome screen of 3.4.34 at the time of this recording. So let's just check first of all that it is the correct and the latest version of the app. It should be, because I've downloaded this here on release day. So let's give this a try. We just click update the app and see if anything happens. If nothing happens, then it means we've got the latest version. Okay, so let's now update our mirrors. And this is new, so you can see now that you've got the option to go for the HTTPS and do hours of sync. So you can go basically check for updates every hour, and it will check a maximum number of mirrors of 10. Now this is the mirror selection from the USB ISO. So when I get actually this installed onto the hardware, then this screen will change. But for now, we'll just click OK. No mirrors found, that's okay. And then here, now you can see we've got this change display resolution. So if I click into this, you can now see you get a nice friendly screen. So this, I would say, probably is in relation to the xrand-r command that you would normally run in a terminal. I've already set this up, so my laptop is looking at a resolution of 1366 by 768. That's the reason why it looks a bit pixelated for you here today. So for that, I'm going to say set and quit. I don't need to change it, but you've got the option to select other resolutions if you so wish to choose so. So that's a new feature there. We've got the Partition Manager, of course, that BNG parted. And then we've got the latest news, installation tips, and troubleshoot. And if we click onto General Info, they just links through to the Endeavour website, where you can obviously click through to their wiki and see their latest news, etc. So for this, I'm just going to click back onto Install, and we are going to start the installation. So we click on Start Install. For today's demonstration, I am going to be doing an offline installation, as the ISO is already up and running, and obviously, as I mentioned earlier on, this will install the XFCE desktop environment. So for this now, you're going to do the installation, and you can see straight away it brought up the terminal. And it is here now that we can go through the installation process. So it says that we're currently not connected to the internet. But of course we're not, because we're on the laptop and we haven't actually connected to one of our networks. So for this, I'm just going to install this here now. So I go There we go. So we're now online. So let's now choose our language. And do you know what? I've never noticed this before. This icon here, it actually looks like the Endeavour spaceship. Yes. Great work, guys. Then we go into British English. Click next. Next. And we select London. And we do next. Next. And we do English UK, and we do default for our keyboard model. And it's here now that I'm going to choose which hard drive I'm going to install it on. So I'm going to install it on my newly installed 256 gigabyte hard disk. I currently have OpenSUSE installed on there, so one thing I am going to do is ask it to erase the disk. And as I'm installing it on my laptop, I am going to ask it to do a swap with Hibernate. And you can see now, because I've got 25 gigabytes worth of space, this is my swap space that will go to 25 gigs worth of RAM. That now leaves me with 212 gigs to play with, and obviously we've now got 300 megabytes on the FAT32 partition, which is of course our boot selection. So I just now need to enter in my name, give my name for a login, and then give my computer a name. So as I always do, I call it Endeavour OS, and I choose a password, my super safe password. I don't want to log in automatically, it's my laptop, but I'm going to use the same password for the administrator account. So now if I, oh hello, my passwords don't match. Okay, just bear with me, let me just get this one sorted out here. I'll just do that one now, I'll just do that one now. There we go, they match now. And we give that one a go now. So we can see now as a summary, it is now going to create a GPT partition. It's going to create me 300 megabytes worth of bootable space and format that to be FAT32 on boot. And it's going to create me the rest of the remaining space on the disk to be for my data. And then obviously it's hibernating on 26 gigabytes there. So let's now give that an install. And we choose install now, and it's here now. You can see that we're going through the updated Endeavour OS Calamares screens. So we'll just take a few moments for this to install. Hopefully it won't take too long, but I'll just leave this running, and you can see what it is doing, and we'll be back in a few moments. Now I'm quite interested to see this screen here, because this one actually shows that even though the Calamares install is getting stuck around the 23-24% mark, it actually is not stuck. It's just letting you know that the installation is still going on in the back end, and you just got to be patient really. Okay, so here it is, installation now complete, and I believe that happened in just a little under 6 minutes, which is great, so not too bad there at all. So I'm installing this onto a 256 gigabyte SSD, so depending on your hardware, the installation will either be quicker or slower, but obviously I'll leave that down to your machine to decide the length of time it does. Right, so let's now restart the device. So with any luck now, it will have automatically detected during that installation that I have Windows also installed on a secondary hard disk. So let's now go ahead and do the restart. Your screen will be black for a few moments while the capture card catches up. Here we go, Endeavour OS, the September release. So one of the problems I'm seeing at the moment is that you guys aren't seeing the full desktop. Okay, so we've now resolved the display issue. So now on screen you can see now a full screen view of what I see here in front of me on my laptop. So here we are now, the welcome screen for version 3.4 of this release. So we're going to first of all update the mirrors. And does that look any different than before? No, it doesn't actually, which is good. But I'm going to select the maximum number of mirrors down to, I think, 3. And say OK to that. Oh yes, you can't find it because we're not online yet. We're going to have to do the super secret safe password once again. Are we online? We're online now. Perfect. Right, now I can do the update mirrors. That's what I wanted to see. Now that's better. It's because we wasn't online. So now we've got the full list of mirrors here. So UK and HTTPS mirrors is fine. Maximum number of mirrors, I'm going to say 5, I think. And it will check for updates every 8 hours. And that should say save. Yep. And I just need to enter in the super secret safe password. And we're going to check for updates on the system now. Enter in my super secret safe password. Yep, it's found something to update. So this is going to update the mirror list, Pango, and the welcome screen is going to become 3.4.351. And we pressed enter to close that. So next we need to do the package cleanup configuration. It's going to clean it up weekly. I'm going to do it daily, and I'm going to actually, no, that's probably too much now. And we'll keep 3 versions of packages here. Enter in password. Display manager I'm not going to change, but by default, because it's XFCE, it's going to use the light DM. But obviously if you've installed GNOME or KDE, then you probably want to use SDM or GNOME's desktop manager there. The Endeavour OS default wallpaper, which is this one here. I quite like that one, so I'm going to leave that one there. But do you want to see the updated the wallpapers? Then we can do that as well. So this is saying somewhere around here. Use one of Endeavour's wallpapers. So here is the complete list, but you can't actually see what they are, can you? So how do we do that? I believe we just have to change the way that the file manager looks at these files. So if we remember the location, user share Endeavour OS backgrounds, and if I bring up the actual file manager, I'm going to file system, going to user, share, Endeavour, and going to backgrounds, and you can see here are the backgrounds, but obviously I need to be able to zoom into those for you. So the ones in sort of reddish purple are from ARM, and the ones in the actual blue purpley colours are from the actual main distro. So in my case here, I'm running XFCE, so I'm going to select XFCE here. So if I did that one, I'm just going to ask it to choose one of those, and I'm going to say, okay, I'm on XFCE, and we'll just okay that. And you can see now that we have changed our wallpaper into XFCE. Bringing up the welcome screen again now. So what's next? Do we have an Ethernet issue? You can remove a driver. And this driver here, it's detected that I'm running off of an 8168 driver. So when I plug my Ethernet cable in it, there might be some problems. But I will find out later when I take this laptop back upstairs and plug it into the main connection there. You've also got the option to change to the vanilla XFCE theme, which is not brilliant, but at least if you did that, you take it back down to default settings, and then you've got the option to obviously theme it your way. Or you can use the XFCE default theme, which is obviously what we're looking at here. So we're not here to look at themes, etc. We're here to just check what this ISO looks like. So let's go into more apps. So first of all, let's install LibreOffice. So we do that. This should bring us up to version 7. 7.0.1 I saw in that list there is going to get installed. It should be a fairly quick, there we go, fairly quick installation. So if I click that down now, we've also got the option to install the Chromium web browser here. I don't like Chromium, to be honest. I know it's open source and great for Linux, but if I want Chrome, it's Chromium. I can go any other browser of my choice, be it Vivaldi, Edge, Brave, etc. So, you know, it's down to me, but I will install the Brave browser in a moment. Let's get the firewall enabled. So this protects your device from the network. That's done. And now we're going to install the Arch Kernel Manager. That's done. Incidentally, all the steps that I'm showing you here is just something that you would normally do on a clean install of the Endeavour OS on any device. And certainly these steps here that I'm taking are the steps that I take when I install it on my devices. But obviously if you're doing the upgrades, then you just do the standard package management upgrades and you should be fine with that. Okay, so I need to install the Bluetooth drivers. Once that is done, yep, I can then install the Blueman application for XFCE. Done. And now the last two buttons here are Browse Arch Packages and Browse All Arch User Repository Packages. So these are the two buttons that the release notes were saying that they had introduced. So that takes you off to the Arch Linux website and lists you out all of the packages there. So just to test that out, I want to install Brave. I know what my command will be, but I just want to check that it's in the Arch User Repository. And you can see here we've got the complete list. So now if I do a search for Brave, here we go. The one thing that I want to be able to see is the Brave bin, which is the browser that blocks it. Yeah, so that's the binary release, or you've got the default release. Now, if you're looking at the release versions here, the binary release looks to be behind, or is it? But it's got the most votes. So look out for popularity and the most votes. So people actually are downloading the bin version, the binary version. So we know what we need. We need the command brave-bin. So we load up a terminal now. And it's here that we are going to go in and ask it to do a yay, because yay is already installed as part of Endeavour. -S, which is going to be to install some software. I'm going to install brave-bin from the Arch user repository. What we should find at the moment is it's saying, are you sure? Yep. Do you want any differences to show? So I'm going to say none. And because I'm doing it via yay, it's not asking me for a super user password. But if it did prompt me, then you just put the password in there. But for now, it's going ahead and doing this installation without a problem. I think in a moment, once it's done the building and the packaging it all up, that it actually will prompt me for a password. So I'm thinking it's round about now as it's compressed. Yeah, here we go. See, now it wants my password. So I wouldn't go away from the machine if you were going to be installing this. You need to actually be with it. But notice how quick that was. So the Brave browser is now installed. And to check that, if I load up the menu, I could just search for Brave. And there we go. There is our beautiful Brave web browser. Just to check we've got internet access. Yep, there we go. Yes, thank you, Google. And we're perfectly fine. Load up the BBC homepage. Yep, perfectly fine. No problems there whatsoever. Is it going to be a nice day tomorrow? We'll soon find out. Yay, things are warming up tomorrow. That's nice. Anyway, we don't want to know about the weather. Right, so that's the Brave web browser now installed. So what else do I want to install? So Just quickly now, if I just minimize that, I'm just going to do a search for Spotify now. I think Spotify is not part of this. It might be on page 2. Oh, it is. Okay, right. So back to the terminal we go. And I do another yay-s and ask it to install Spotify, my favorite web streaming client. We say no to that. Do you want to import the keys? I will say yes, but I think I've known this to error before now. Yeah, there's a problem. Okay, all right. I can't install Spotify via that, but there are other ways of doing that. Let's think of another. So let's think now. We want to install something from the Snap Store. So let's do yay-s. I'm going to install the Opera browser. Yep, so it's downloading Opera 71. I'm a person that likes to have more than one browser installed on my machine. Simply because if it doesn't work in one, you just go, anything you're doing where it doesn't work in one browser, open up another browser and just try it in that, see if it works. So Opera's now installed. What was the other one I normally do? So Firefox is installed by default. I haven't installed Google Chrome. Yes. So now I do yay-s. Now I do know that it's just Google Chrome. And do I want to install the standard Chrome, the beta Chrome, or the developer Chrome? If I was a web developer, I'd say I want to install the dev version because I like to be able to keep up to date with the latest code set from Google. But in my case, I'm just going to go with the standard Chrome installation of 1. I don't need to see the dependencies. This should be fairly quick to install. It's installing the stable version, version 85. There it goes, extracting it now. There we go. And it's interesting to know that Brave wants you to enter your password when it wants to do something in the back end, but Google Chrome doesn't. So let me just check now that Chrome is there. Yep, there we go. If I load up Chrome, don't make it my default. There we go. See how super quick that was? And I just load up the BBC website again. Yeah, see how quick that was? Nice. Check the weather again. Yeah, look at that. It's going to be a horrible day tomorrow. Anyway, so there's Chrome installed. Right. Okay, so what next to find out? So was there anything else in the release notes actually that we need to look at here? So let me just refer back now to my other screen and bring up the web browser. Let's have a look at what else there is in the release notes. We've done the installation, we've done the app. I think that's about it really. We should have Firefox version 80, so let's just check for that, shall we? Let's just do that now. So let's check Firefox is installed, which it is. And we just check. Notice how fast and quick and snappy this laptop is now. I've given it more RAM and an SSD. So if we look at help and about Firefox, we can see that we're on version 80.0.1, which is the latest version. Excellent, right. So I am pretty much ready to go. The only thing I haven't done is shown you how to install Spotify and Arch. And we'll just do this. It's because Google needs me to sign in. That's why I keep getting this horrid message that keeps appearing. Let's just try that again. Install Spotify in Arch X. I think we have to do it via Snap. So if we install that, we need to enable it. So let's just do this now. So if we copy this code and we bring up a terminal, We paste that in. Yep. And whilst that's doing it, I'll just copy the next code to enable the service. I love the Snapcraft website. It's got these buttons where you can actually do a copy. So looking at the applications installed here, so you've still got the generic XFCE applications available to you. Obviously I've installed more browsers. Not sure I've spotted this one on previous installations. LFTP. Transmissions there, which is a great BitTorrent client. I love that. And there's the Office Suite on version 7. We've got your settings here. If we look at appearance, we've got Arc and Ardwaiter, and Arc and Paper for the icons. Let's just say yes to this prompt here, sorry. Here we go. That's now Snap installed, so let me just paste that other command in there to enable it. Snap is now enabled. Now I just need to copy down this code as well. That's done now. Right, so next we just do sudo snap install Spotify. Yes, we have to give it a moment because obviously it's in the process of running a transaction, so give it about 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And there we go, it's downloading Spotify now. So there's a minor bug, I think, unless it's just something to do with certificates and not trusting the keys that it's trying to import. When you're doing it via the Yay process there. So that's Spotify now installing. Yeah. So looking at appearance again, yeah, that's fine. All good. Right. So there we have it then. XFCE installed on the September release of Endeavour OS. And once this snap is installed, I am going ahead and putting Budgie on here. And it's very, very easy to install and remove desktop environments, but be careful when you are doing that because of the display managers. So know what display manager gets used in what desktop environment first before you go ahead and add and remove your other ones. Okay, so that's now done. Let's clear that out. Okay, so now I'm going to do a sudo pacman because it's arch-s, and I'm going to install the Budgie desktop. Now GNOME, yeah, it doesn't know if I spell it right. GNOME is a requirement for this, so I probably need to install that as well. And it's going to install the GNOME desktop. Okay, fine. So this, by the way, is my Budgie desktop in Ubuntu Budgie. I can now recreate this look on the Endeavour installation as well, which is what I'm going to go ahead and play with right now. So now we've got this, we can now just simply log out of Endeavour. Pressing the stop button there and log out. I may need to reboot, but we're just going to check that now. And if I just check on the drop down list, I've now got Budgie being offered to me as a desktop environment. And let's go ahead and check that out now. Yes, there we go. Thank you. Here we have now Endeavour, which is updated. It's now on version 3.4.35-1. I don't need to do any of the updating of the mirrors, but I will update the system. Now I'm on the desktop environment. There's no updates there. Any cleanup required? No, it's fine. Don't need to change my desktop manager, that's already been changed there. So this is Budgie. Hey. So I'm going to go and play with this one now, but thank you very much for joining us here today on this quick walkthrough of the September release of Endeavour OS. If you do have the ARM ISO available and you have some ARM technology, go ahead and play with it. I'll be interested to hear how you get on installing it on a Raspberry Pi 4. Drop me a line and let me know how you get on with that. Because I'm interested myself personally, but I don't want to invest in the technology just yet. Also keen to hear how you get on putting it on a Pinebook Pro. You get hold of me via Twitter at RobinJust. Also contact me via my website over there at digitalrobin.net. I'm also a regular contributor for Big Daddy Linux podcasts, which you can see and hear each and every week. Big Daddy Linux Live, and I'm a regular contributor for the European edition, which is always hosted on the second Saturday of every month, so look out for me there. Otherwise, mostly active over there on Twitter. Join us there if you certainly can. Follow me, like me, share me, and until the next video, take care of yourselves and enjoy using Endeavour OS, the September release. Till next time, take care.